Hey folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings weekly movie news podcast. This week's news brought to you by an Easter basket filled with a slew of random announcement Easter eggs. Yes, a lot of news this week, so I'll just start reading down all the announcements that we have. So first, let's start with our guy, writer and director, Matt Reeves, director of the Planet of the Apes films, and of course, The Batman. He also wrote the Batman 2 script, and Matt looks to be on deck now over at Apple for directing a new Bonfire of the Vanities series. Based on the 1987 book and coming 35 years after the Brian De Palma adaptation, this could be a good mix. The series is mostly being written by producer, writer, and former lawyer David E. Kelley, so we look forward to hearing more on this. Meryl Streep is also looking at some TV. She'll be over at Netflix and starring in The Corrections, a novel which Netflix just won a bidding war for. The series will star Streep and be directed by Cord Jefferson, who came on the map for directing American Fiction in 2023. Netflix is fast-tracking the project as well, so production may even be starting later this year. Sticking then in the same lane, Laura Dern will be helming up her own limited series at Sony about Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, so Dern will be playing investigative reporter Julie K. Brown from the Miami Herald, and the show is based on Brown's novel about the investigation into Epstein that led to his demise. Adam McKay looks to be executive producing the project as well, and since it's at Sony, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up on Netflix in the end. Then, sticking with Adam McKay, so Adam McKay looks to be directing another Sony project. It's a sci-fi comedy film written by Michael Shanks. Shanks, who wrote and directed the body horror film with Alison Brie and Dave Franco called Together from last year. McKay has had several projects of his own kind of fall out, mostly due to financing issues in the past. So this is kind of new for McKay. I mean, he produces a ton of projects, but when it comes to him directing, he always directs what he also writes. So, with Shanks taking care of the writing, we'll see what we get with him and McKay directing this sci-fi comedy. No other details yet, so we'll keep you posted as more comes out. Alec Baldwin has his first major project that he'll be a part of since the tragic incident on the set of Rust. Baldwin will be joining Chris Hemsworth and Taron Egerton in Kockroach. It's based on a novel of the same name, and Kockroach follows an outsider who infiltrates New York City's criminal ecosystem and rises to the top as its most powerful crime boss. The movie will be directed by Matt Ross, who directed the well-received Captain Fantastic film starring Viggo Mortensen. This film will definitely be on the darker side compared to Captain Fantastic, though. But the Baldwin angle is interesting. We'll see how the market reacts. Does the film get rejected right away because we're not ready for Baldwin's return? Will they be happy to go see him back in action? Or do people just not really care? We'll see. But regardless, if this movie is quote-unquote good enough, will it be the jumping-off point for Baldwin to return and reinvent himself a bit? But of course, we'll just have to see. Some updates on Avatar 4 and 5. Well, producer on the films Ray Sancini has had this to say recently, quote, "Right now we're figuring out the schedule. We're working hard on it right now, budgeting, scheduling, planning, building our new pipeline for them. As far as we're concerned, we're full speed ahead. We have the scripts, they're brilliant, and as far as I'm concerned, we're heading forward." End quote. Tentative dates for the films are 2029 and 2031. I'm not too sure who exactly is all that excited, but it is in the news. Sancini also says that the budgets will probably be less due to using technology that's used more broadly in the industry to streamline the production. And then, of course, the last thing we have to see is if James Cameron will be back or will he be passing the baton as far as directing goes. Some quick mentions here. John Travolta surprised everyone with a directorial debut. Travolta is debuting his film at Cannes Film Festival. It's a shorter film called Propeller One-Way Night Coach. It's based on the 1997 book that is about Travolta's memories of his first airplane flight. After premiering at Cannes, the movie will already be available over on Apple on May 29th. And the Blair Witch Project. Well, we'll be getting a third film in the franchise now, which probably should have never been a franchise in the first place. The first Blair Witch project came out in 1999 and was an instant hit and cultural phenomenon. Vin Daly, by the way, gave it an 82%. Then Blair Witch came out in 2016 with very little fanfare. And now Lionsgate and Blumhouse would like to try again. So Dylan Clark will helm the project and direct it. He hasn't done a ton, mostly shorts, so he's pretty unproven thus far. We'll see if they can capture that magic once more, but I don't know, maybe we should just leave Blair Witch with where it's at. And then real quick, for all you fans out there of Alien 3, or all you potential fans of Alien 3, there has been a new version that has been cut and released on HBO Max if interested. So it's now 2 hours and 25 minutes, and it restores a lot of deleted scenes. It's called Alien 3: The Assembly Cut. Again, check it out if you want on HBO Max. And with that, let's go jump over to the box office for this past weekend. So, fifth best at the box office this weekend was Reminders of Him. That made $2.2 million. Then Pixar's Hoppers with $5.8 million. That is at a worldwide total of $515. I really am not sure if that's a success or failure yet. I'll get the stats on that for maybe next week. Third for the weekend was newly released The Drama, starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. Second for the weekend was Project Hail Mary, holding strong, and that made $30.7 million. But of course, the biggest movie this holiday weekend was the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And in the States, that has made $130.9 million in the opening weekend, and worldwide, it's sitting pretty with already $372 million. That will absolutely turn a profit, and not quite breaking records, but getting very close to breaking records. So very good for that film. Coming up this Thursday, Vincent Daly will be watching, rating, and reviewing the two new releases this week. So we are covering The Drama, directed by Christopher Borgli, and then the Super Mario Galaxy movie by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic. I'm also going to give a Two Shoes review of Anaconda from earlier this year with Jack Black and Paul Rudd. It just hit Netflix. And of course, then, for next week, we know what it is. It's Tom's birthday movies. So we'll also be announcing what those films are going to be this Thursday as well. But that's it for your weekly movie news here, folks. We'll leave you today with a quote from an actor and now new director, John Travolta. Princess Diana was a nice dancer because she had confidence. In fact, when we danced together, she started to lead. And I looked at her in the eye and went, "No, you have to let me lead." So I grabbed her around the waist and we were off to the races. And all right, folks, the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast, that was it. See you on Thursday.